Today we're going through even more great deals for your Nintendo Switch. This time we'll focus on games under $2. Now don't let the price fool you, some of these games can be an amazing value, especially on sale. Hey everyone, I'm JP and welcome to Good Talk HQ. Thanks as always for hanging out, much love to the crew, stay safe out there, let's go ahead and dive in. Alright, we'll start with Butcher, which is a 2D side-scrolling platformer developed by Transhuman Design. The game was inspired by classics like Doom and Wolfenstein and offers players intense gameplay and brutal combat. It utilizes a twin-stick control layout and requires precise aiming and quick reflexes. The sound design is outstanding, and of course they went with the pixelated art style. The controls are tight and responsive, and while the game can be completed in maybe 4 hours, it does have a few difficulty levels and it's no joke on the harder ones. It's a true hidden gem here on the console, and right now you can pick it up for just $199, marked down 80%, and the deal ends on the 25th. It will require about 150 megabytes for the download. Next we have Earth Atlantis, which is a single-player underwater monster hunter from Pixel Perfects with a download around 700 megabytes, and it offers players roughly 3 to 4 hours of gameplay. Now this one does play a lot like most standard side-scrolling shooters and gives players a pretty large map to explore with plenty of variety and different enemies to keep things fresh and exciting. Now as you play through, you can also find unlockables including new ships with their own unique special weapons, and you'll need these more powerful ships later on for the tougher bosses. They went with the unique art style as well, and it does look pretty great here on the Switch. Right now you can pick up Earth Atlantis for just $199, marked down nearly 90% and matching an all-time low until the 30th. Feudal Alloy is a single-player 2D Metroidvania from Atu Games, offering players more than 10 hours of gameplay, but the download is just under 2 gigs, so make sure to clear some space if you need to. In this one we play as Atu, a fish-controlled robot, and while that sounds a bit strange, it works well within the context of the story. In fact, most everything in the game is themed around machinery in one way or another, and it's a surprisingly deep Metroidvania with tight controls, interesting level design, and enjoyable combat. You have weapon and gear upgrades you can find as well, plus there are a ton of secrets and hidden collectibles. It's another hidden gem, and right now you can pick it up for just $199, marked down 88% and matching an all-time low until the 18th. Next up we have Micetopia, which is a single-player 2D action platformer from Ninja Rabbit Studio, and it offers players roughly 4 hours of gameplay with a small download at about 50 megabytes. Now at the core, this is a bite-sized Metroidvania with a great chiptune soundtrack and gorgeous pixelated graphics. The story follows a brave young mouse on a valiant quest to save a princess and defeat an evil mage. You have additional side quests, environmental puzzles, tons of NPCs you can talk to, and of course those sweet boss battles, plus the game is loaded with secrets to find as well. It's another great pickup, and right now you can get it for just $199, marked down 50%, and the deal ends on the 21st, again matching a previous low. OutBuddies DX is another retro-inspired Metroidvania with gorgeous pixel art graphics, and it gives the player more than 10 hours of gameplay, with a download around 550 megabytes. The game has a cool setting and takes place deep underwater in a sunken city. Along your journey you'll be accompanied by your robot pal named Buddy, and in fact the game actually allows a second player to take control of this character and join you along as you play in an assisted role. It has a truly retro feel to it and gives players a feeling of isolation as you work through the maze-like map looking for items and upgrades. The controls feel great and the combat, while simple, is pretty fun, and overall the game can be quite challenging at points, but it does have a pretty generous checkpoint system to help out a bit. If you're interested in OutBuddies DX, you can pick it up for just $199. This is another hidden gem, marked down 89%, and the deal ends on the 29th, a brand new low for the game. Rigid Force Redux is a single-player side-scrolling shooter from Com8 Com1, and it has a download just over 1.5 gigs, and of course it's going to give you plenty of game time for the asking price. Now this is a remaster of Rigid Force Alpha, and so we follow the same crew as we take on hordes of enemies in some pretty intense combat scenarios. Now as you play through the levels you can find upgrades and power-ups that stack on top of one another, and so if you can avoid taking damage for a bit, you become quite powerful as you mow down tons of enemies. In addition to the main game mode, they also give you the boss rush option, which is always a welcome addition in any game in my opinion. The soundtrack was another highlight with music that pumps you up and gets you ready for the action, and right now you can pick up this amazing shmup for just $1.99, marked down 90% until the 29th, again a brand new low. Up next we have Slime Sand, which is a fun and unique 2D platformer from Head Up Games that offers players more than 15 hours of challenging gameplay. Now the game has a download around 1.5 gigs and it does offer 2-player local co-op as well, and with this one you get more than 100 different levels of increasingly tougher difficulty, and then after you've completed the game you can unlock New Game Plus, which adds in an additional 100 levels. On top of that, the game includes a speed run and boss rush mode as well, adding even more value to the deal. Right now you can pick up Slime Sand for just $1.99, marked down 83% to a new low, and the deal ends again on the 29th. Next we have They Bleed Pixels, which is a pretty tough single-player platformer that offers players more than 10 hours of gameplay, and again comes in with a download at just under 325 megabytes. Now the game on standard difficulty is absolutely brutal and will likely cause a few people to rage quit multiple times, but if you stick with it and master the combat, the game is wildly fun, and there's even a somewhat interesting story being told as well. In fact, they go out of their way to make sure you know it's not a button masher, and you do have to be a bit more patient and plan your moves in order to succeed, especially in the later stages. It's a blast, and right now you can pick it up for just $1.99, marked down nearly 90% and matching a previous low into the 15th. Trash Quest is a fun single-player Metroidvania with a download around 200 megabytes, and it offers about 2 hours of gameplay, and of course as you can tell they went with a unique look, but the gameplay is somewhat unique as well, in that you have no checkpoints, just a single respawn point which happens to be a trash bin, and our main character is a gun-toting raccoon that isn't quite himself when hungry. Now, of course, if you die, you'll go back to that respawn point, but if you happen to die on a boss, you start right outside the room, which is nice, and any power-ups and shortcuts that you unlock while playing will remain through death, and of course, you can use your map, but I didn't find it very helpful. Just nice that you have the option, I guess. It does have online leaderboards as well, and there's a speedrun fandom out there for the game. Right now you can pick it up for just $1.99, marked down 80%, and the deal ends on the 16th. UnderDungeon is a newer top-down adventure title with a unique art style and a comedic story that was likely inspired by Undertale. It has a download around 1.2 gigs and offers about 4 hours of gameplay on average. Now in this one we play as a young delivery driver, and from there we get into all kinds of trouble as we try to get each package to its destination. The gameplay and puzzles are very Zelda-like in nature, with the addition of these fun little mini-games added in, and as you can see, again they went with a minimalistic art design. However, I think it gives the game a bit more of its own unique character and charm. It's a phenomenal deal for a newer game, and right now it's just $1.99 with a discount of 86% until the 14th. Alright everybody, here are a few other games to check out while you're already on the eShop. Alright everybody, thank you all so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video or you like the Switch, we have plenty more content on the channel. Feel free to check it out.